How do you pay for a £2 billion stadium? Well, it's all about recruitment. Juan Jimenez and Tobias Ramirez, two 18-year-old defenders from Argentina, playing their trade in the Argentinian Premier Division right now. And Manchester United are looking to make them sales and move quickly in purchasing these players for the end of the Argentinian season in December. This is what Manchester United fans were warned about. We listened to an interview with Sir Jim Ratcliffe the other day who said, now that the structure's in place, now that the plans are in place, the only thing that we can do is recruit. And it's all about recruitment. We should have known that this was going to happen. We heard him talk about the overpaid players. We heard him talk about mistakes that had happened before. And we need to find money. He's also come out and said that we haven't got any money. So, where do United go in the transfer market this window? We know we've got to sell. How do we get the right type of squad and the right future for Manchester United when we've got no money? Should we be going in for former players that might have won a World Cup that are on free transfers? You know who I'm talking about. We're going to talk about Paul Pogba as well. We got an update on him. Now he's a free agent. But I want to start the show today here on FUTV United TV. Match day show as well, everybody. It is a big night tonight. But we're starting with the recruitment side of things. Is this a sign of what is to come from Manchester United? Is this what we've got to get used to going forward in the future? Some won't be happy. Some actually will be happy that Manchester United are looking at these types of deals. When you look into both of these players we're going to talk about here, in Jimenez and Ramirez, both playing at 18 at centre-back in Argentina. Their season, like I just said, then ends in December. Ramirez, for one, is a free agent at the end of the season, so would be a free transfer for Manchester United. We've already brought in the likes of Diego Leon, cheap from Paraguay right now. Are United actively making it their... are they making it their mission to actually find this talent now? I feel like it's going one way at the moment, and it's not the way of the Galacticos and the former regime. Now, we did spend a lot in the summer. Maybe that was just a impactful start to the reign of Ineos, and they were just trying to please the fans and get them on board and back the manager. Because like Sir Jim said again, and a lot of what Sir Jim said in that recent interview is just coming out into bits of news right now. When you put it all together, piece it into one, it starts to make sense. It does, because he talked about the fans and the pressure and keeping Ten Hag. He talked about the money that he's already spent and has pretty much gone. I think we know where a lot of that went, to be honest, in terms of the players and what Manchester United spent in the summer. Look, we're all looking at the possibility of them players that we brought in the summer being here for a few more years. We're all quite happy with them. I think the general consensus among the Man United fan base was that opening transfer window for Ineos wasn't that bad. We spent a lot and we're worse, yes, but I don't think anybody's kicking up a stink about the players that we brought in. And maybe more of that to come would work for Manchester United. But this is how I see it panning out. And the more and more I look into it, I just don't see how Manchester United are going to attract the players that they're looking for. They're not going to give Kobbie Mainoo 180 grand a week wages. And for the players that United are looking at, that's the sort of wage that these players are going to be demanding. And with no European football and all of the cuts that are going on at Manchester United and the cost-saving mission that's in there right now and what Ineos are doing, I just don't see how we get the bigger players. Is this the play? I could be completely wrong. And I'm just saying this as it is because this is the news that's coming out. As you can see in the tweet at the bottom of your screen there from Graham Bailey as well. And there is other news I want to get about as well regarding transfers. Gibbs White, again, another name being linked. I just don't see it at all. And I'm going to be realistic right now. What can I see happen? Go off what's happened so far. Look at what's happened. Christopher Vivel has been in situ at Manchester United. And look at what's happened. Manchester United and Ruben Amorim have been in place. That being the structure and Ruben Amorim and not Ten Hag, for instance. You only have to look at what we've done so far and how Manchester United's transfer window has gone since that big outlay on players in the summer. Look at what's happened. You can look at Sekou Kone, Chidobe Martin, Aidan Heaven, Diego Leon, Patrick Dorgu, all brought in for less than 30 million total. And we got 5 players there that United have spent less than 30 million quid on. All under the age of 20. Well, Dorgu is 20 now, but I'm just using him as the example. All of them teenagers. Dorgu the eldest and the most significant buy. But everyone else that United are looking at is in that age bracket right now, and I don't see any other headlines for any other bigger players. We're moving away from the Ossimens. We're moving away from the Okeres. And yes, they could come in, and we do need them players. We desperately do need them players in because we need the experience amongst the younger players. We know we're going to be getting rid of a lot of players in the summer, but these 2 players in particular, both 18, both Argentinian, both playing their trade in the Premier Division in Argentina. Like I said before, their division finishes on the 14th of December, and that's when for Juan Jimenez, who is an under-20 Argentinian player as well. He was already made his debut. Funnily enough, I think his debut was actually against River Plate. So what a debut to actually come into as well. Experienced player in terms of the Argentinian league now. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of adapting, and this is not going to help Manchester United in the here and now. But he's going to be free. It's an 18-year-old who's going to be a free transfer because his contract runs out. Tobias Ramirez is another player, similar, but he's still under contract, but market value around $2.5 million. And you can see where I'm going with it again. Manchester United's recruitment is around players that are the likes of Caicedo. When we did a show the other day, I was talking through all of the players that the previous regime missed, like the Benjamin Šeškos, like the Caicedos, all of under £5 million. You're looking at the Netos, and we turned him down. United are just looking at the mistakes from before. I think there's a massive, massive push to hit recruitment properly and make sure that we get the targets before they come of age. I just don't think we have got that money. I expect this to be the least Manchester United have spent in a summer post Alex Ferguson. That's my statement on this transfer window coming up. All of the noises are of the same types of players that are not going to be like I said before, the marquee, the well-known players. There may be the odd one in there that United desperately need, and it won't be the best in Europe. It'll be probably someone that's coming through in the Premier League, like we've spoken about before, like the Delaps and like the Diblins and Riggs of this world and Hackneys and players like that. It's not going to be the same old United. It isn't. And it's going to be interesting what happens in the free transfer market as well. But I think this is the play. I think United are trying to steal a match on everybody else here. And you could say steal a match. It's not really going to do anything or impact anything that's happening at the club right now. I agree. And you've got to integrate these players. You've got to acclimatise them. And it's going to take a little bit of time. And there is that concern. And I get where United fans wouldn't be convinced by any of this at all. Because they're unknowns. Again, it's the unknown. And you're risking it. But it's at low cost. And I think that's the angle. It's the low-cost aspect of it. Can United be competitive with these players? We don't know. The unknown, yet again. All we know is that these players have got absolutely huge potential. Everybody that's coming into United is huge potential. You look what happened with Aiden Heaven when he came on against Arsenal the other day. You've seen what happened with Chido when he came on against Fulham. Bright signs, and Ruben really the man at the helm to nurture these players through, I feel, and probably is the right man for us right now in making sure that these players all have their heads firmly screwed on as well. He has got them on a tight leash in terms of giving them the expectations that they have to perform to, and not overhyping them at the same time. And I get it, I do, and there is that exciting factor about it, about how United go about this transfer window. But still, it's the unknown and the worry and the concern that they could be brilliant players, yes, but they could also be complete flops. And the whole window goes by with a transfer window like this, and we're stuck with the same players yet again. I know we'll have younger players coming through that have developed through the academy, and the likes of Chido, Heaven, Sekou Kone, players like this would be one more year on in their development. Some of the talent coming through Manchester United's academy already, like Gabe Bayenchere and obviously Ibrahimov, Scanlon, players like this. Obviously, we've seen the likes of Waits and other players coming through as well. Fitzgerald, Morehouse, there is plenty there, and obviously we've got that, but we've said it many a times before. How many younger players are you going to buy? How many players are you going to get in the door without that leadership, without that experience factor in the team? It is a concern, and we know that there is a lot of the old guard leaving this summer. And we've talked about it a plenty. We know who they are, and we know what they have brought to Manchester United. And it is the failings of Manchester United's recruitment and them players that we're talking about now. And I think this is why Manchester United are looking at the younger players that we are now as well. I do believe there'll be one or two bigger signings, but this is what Manchester United's transfer windows are going to be, I feel. I think we're going to be run like that bottom half of the table team, recruitment-wise, for the start anyway, where we try and get everything balanced and money back into Manchester United. But it is a massive risk-reward because these players might not do it. And if you stay still, you've still got these players. Yes, they may be young and you could probably move them on. They're not on much money, but it all counts for what happens on the pitch. You still need to perform on the pitch. You still need to actually get the results on the pitch. And are these players good enough? We don't know. It's the unknown, and that is the worry, and that's the concern with all Manchester United fans right now. I'm thinking even the hierarchy are worried and concerned that it might not work. They have to be, because they are putting everything in on this massive announcement of a stadium and how we're funding it and everything like that. And you've got these players coming through right now, playing for Manchester United, starting into next season, trying to recover from one of our worst ever Premier League seasons. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. And it puts more pressure on Ruben Amorim because he's having to bring these players through. And yes, he's good and he's known for that. But he has also said, and he's made it clear, he needs to get results. You need to win games at Manchester United. And these players are not going to win the game straight away. So what else is going to happen in this summer? And again, it comes down to, for me, the players that will be leaving Manchester United and players that will be sold, that need to be sold, so Manchester United can finance other purchases coming in. Because this is not enough. Where we like it, and I think it's good for the future of the football club. I love this type of recruitment. You still need your staple. You still need your day-to-day run-of-the-mill players that are old enough and experienced enough to know how to compete in the Premier League. We have got a ton of potential and nothing ready-made. That's the issue at Manchester United. But ready-made players come at a premium, and I don't think we have got the funds or the money or anything coming up in the next couple of years, in fact, to pay and bring them players in. And so you've got to offer them Champions League football. You've got to offer them European football at least. United will not be going out and buying the 30-year-olds anymore just to add that experience factor in. We can't afford to. The only way they would come is because they're getting a payday, and Ineos won't pay any more money for older players anymore. So if you're looking for the 24, 25-year-old players, the best sort of players, the experienced ones that have got 4 or 5 years under their belt, they come at a premium. We haven't got premium money right now. And that's where I'm getting a little bit concerned, because Bruno's not going to get any younger. Harry Maguire will be gone after next year. We know we're getting rid of Casemiro, Lindelof, Evans, Heaton, Ericsson, 5 experienced international players this summer as well. And you've got your De Ligt's. Yoro's still young. Mazraoui's international as well. I get that. Obviously, you've got Adalo still. He's experienced now, you could say. Bruno's there. Agate's there. There's no one up front at all. There's no experience up front at all. That has to be the key area. It has to be the key area. And for God's sake, get a goalkeeper that these players at the back can start trusting in as well. I think that's how United need to approach it. But I'm going to get into the comment section first of all. There is other news I want to get through as well, so let's run through this as quick as possible. United's recruitment approach. These stories have been circulating for a while, and they've come up again this morning. I wanted to talk about them because I feel like this is how Manchester United are going to be looking at this transfer window coming up this summer. It's a big one for them, as we know, but it's scary as a United fan. Like me talking about it right now, like it's all good. It's honestly, when you look at everything, when you look at how Manchester United are right now, when you look at the players that we've got, and we know what we need to get rid of them, are the fan base prepared to take the hit? Are the fan base prepared to take the hit of letting these players progress and giving them time to come of age? Well, we know we've got the right man in to do it, but have we got the patience as a fan base? That's the key in all of this. Because the fans are going to continuously go in on Ineos and the Glazers. We know this. The fans are always going to scrutinise matches. We cannot be seen to be absolutely being smashed every single week at home while we nurture through a young group of players. It's not going to be acceptable, and the fans have already been through so much crap over the last few years. They'll be stuck between a rock and a hard place, because they want to be supporting the younger players, but they want results on the pitch. They want to actually be celebrating United moving up that table. And where we're always behind our younger players, there'll become a point where it's like, can we take any more of this? Like, we know that they're going to be coming of age, and we know that they need time, and that talent needs to be given space to come through. But still, Like, you have to be honest and like, what is that going to do to them if they don't start progressing and the wins don't come? Will they be able to handle the pressure? There has to be a big balancing act in this. I think at least 2 experienced players need to come in the summer to help Manchester United. And then if you're bringing in the rest in younger talents, so be it. If it has to be that way, it has to be that way. But make sure that you get the right experienced players in the right areas. And that's where this show is sort of going for me. The 2 positions that United desperately need to invest in this summer. Let's just count this summer. After this season, money's down. No European football, possibly. You never know. We'll see. Tonight's big. Not enough there to spend in terms of bigger players. No one wants to come anyway because we haven't got that European football. We need to bring in 2 players in 2 positions, ideally with the best experience that you can get. Has to be number 1, has to be number 9 for me. You need them 2 areas. We've got experience at centre-back. We've got it in central midfield. We haven't got it up front, and we haven't got it in goal. Well, we haven't got the best in goal. We've got experience, but he's still not good enough. We know that. They're the 2 areas that I would spend the money. I know we need an 8. I know we need wing-backs. I know we need 10s. But right now, honestly, where are United? What are our priorities? Where are we struggling? We're conceding goals through mistakes at the back. The defence is nervous because of the goalkeeper. And we don't score goals. We don't score goals. And that is the issue at this football club right now. And that's where the money, I think, this summer, say, for instance, you've got 100 million. I'd be going out and I'd be getting if we had to, 50 to 60 million pound striker. And I would be spending 30 million, maybe 40 million again on another goalkeeper. That's literally where I feel Manchester United are falling down, and they desperately, if they're looking at the area of the pitch that they need to strengthen immediately, it's them 2 areas for me. I think we will get a wing back anyway, and I think we have got raw talent coming through our ranks in Manchester United's academy. I really do want to keep an eye on Kamasin coming through Manchester United's academy. I think he could be an absolute star going forward, and we'll see. I'm excited to see how many of them academy players come through into the summer, actually, in terms of getting part of the pre-season tour as well. So, really interesting time on transfers. I'm going to get into the comment section now. Kaz is 14 months a member. Wow, that has flown by, hasn't it? Recruitment is why we're where we are. We have mismanaged recruitment and spent I've spent $1 billion and have no players. This is how windows should have been. 1 to 2 good players, 4 to 5 young players. Me and United Spotlight are in complete agreement, I think. It definitely is exactly where it needs to be. Sir Alex Ferguson did this. 1 or 2 key players in key areas that are the best you can get, that you throw all of your effort and your time into. For instance, we did it with Manuel Ugarte in the summer. I do believe he will be a great player for Manchester United. I like him. I think he is an absolute beast. And to spend that time and get that money and spend that time and money and bringing him in, I think that's the type of transfer United need to be making, but for a number 9. Now, whether or not you could persuade a Jonathan David. Lille went out the Champions League last night. He scored again. I think he nearly hit double figures for the whole Champions League the campaign this season now, Jonathan David. He's a free transfer. He is going to want 200 grand a week wages. He is worth 200 grand a week wages. And no one at Manchester United in the playing staff could actually moan about that, I don't think. Players that you bring in that have done it elsewhere and have done it consistently like he has deserve the wages. And that's what their agent will demand. And that's what Manchester United will invest into because he's ready-made. Anyone else right now who hasn't proved anything, you're not going to get hardly any wages out of. It's like Patrick Dorgu at 20, 40 grand a week, 45 grand a week, whatever it is that he's on. 5 years worth of that. If he turns to his mid-20s and he's smashing it, his wages go up. His wages go up by maybe 100 grand a week. It's a perfect structure. It's right. This is the only thing that I'm happy with right now at Manchester United. The wage structure and the people in place, the Vivels, the Baradas, the Wilcox, this is what I'm happy with right now. I think them people have got their heads screwed on and have got United moving in the right direction. The investment from the owners, well, big issue. And we're trying to spend what we are making right now, but we're not making enough. So this is why the younger recruitment comes in. But we will know, if we sell Rashford, which we will, we'll sell Antony. Casemiro will also go. We'll obviously have to sell a couple of other players, I feel. And we will have enough there to get at least 2 experienced players. Honestly, right now, if you are Manchester United and the opportunity jumps out at you, you go and get Jonathan David. The age he is and what's happening, and yeah, he might want Champions League football, but you make an effort to make it happen, I feel. I think that's United's type of player. Look, there's a release clause within, if we're not in Europe, within a certain amount of time, then we will sell you on, happily sell you on, no problem at all, and you can move on to another club. Give us 2 years at United, full bore. If it's not worked, there is a clause, you can move on. Will you give us your time? I'm no CEO, I'm no manager or no sporting director or anything like that, but there has to be something there that can happen like that, and that's United's approach. Then you bring in the younger players, then you bring in everything that's necessary, I think, to fill the gaps of the players that are leaving. Young players that can thrive at Manchester United, because it's a completely different environment now under a coach that is used to bringing in younger players. Adam, don't be worried, says Makesh. B. George Michael, average team ages between coming down. Average age of the team's coming down for years, and have a few experienced players that can integrate the new age. Ruben's the guy. You just got to have faith. I've got faith in Ruben, Marquez. Honestly, mate, I do 100% feel right behind this coach more than anyone else that has ever walked through the door at Manchester United, because of how he's approached it. And I've said this before, the difference is you've got a structure behind him that is fully backing and supporting of him. And they will not fall for the same player traps. The players are not happy. They're going to go and start kicking up a stink with someone else above the coach or the manager. You've just had the co-owner of the football club, the CEO of the football club, and Jason Wilcox has already spoke glowingly about Ruben Amorim already. And Ruben Amorim reciprocating them comments from them praising him back to them as well. You've got a good core there. Vivel, Wilcox, Barada, Sir Jim, who are all together at least. Whether you like Sir Jim or not, at least he's going to back our manager. At least he's going to be supportive of him. And we're 14th right now. And he is changing his whole outlook of what he expected from Manchester United when he walked through the door and he said we were going to win the league in 3 years, to realising that Ruben has got a bigger job on his hands than he first thought. And he's backing him on that. So at least we've got that. And these players will have to fall in line. And they will. And I think that game against Arsenal, and yes, it was a low block and it suited the style a bit better, but we are seeing them players get behind Ruben, I feel, a little bit. I think the message is coming across. You've got an owner that's just come out and said we're looking to move into a £2 billion stadium, 100,000 seater stadium, the best of the best. And he's backing his manager. And this is a manager that the players have fallen out with this season since he's been brought in. That now he's getting the full support of the project. There's nowhere for the players to go. Fall in line. We should start to see more of these players, I feel, adapt. They are professional footballers, and it's inexcusable that they have not been able to do it so far. Almac says in the comments section, player recruitment has been shocking for a decade, but the absolute worst was Erik ten Hag signing Anthony Onana, Mason Mount, Casemiro and Højlund. Erik ten Hag was an absolute disgrace. Them signings were bad. So Jim Radcliffe did throw Erik ten Hag under the bus as well a little bit in that interview with his recruitment as well. It is a big night for United tonight as well. And we are going to be doing the warm-up later on as well. Make sure that you do join us. It will be probably round about, I'm guessing around about 2 o'clock, 2:30 or something around that mark today. I will let you all know anyway. Massive game build-up to tonight. We're in the press box tonight. We're going to be asking questions. We're going to be in and amongst it. And the whole season rides on it. So make sure that you do tune in later on for the warm-up show as well before we head out to Old Trafford. And hopefully we're talking about Man United being in the quarterfinals, because if we're in the quarterfinals, I think we're going to get into the semi-finals, because we will beat Lyon. There is nothing in that Lyon side that for me scares me. And if this United side are on it, we can beat anyone. Look, we've just taken down Arsenal. We drew with Liverpool. We've beaten Manchester City. In one-off games, this team can do something, which is why I've always had that we can do something in the Europa League. One-off games, double headers like this, I think United can compete. The players can switch on. These players, and a lot of them, are not good enough for United, and they need sending away in the summer. We know this. But can they get us through to that final of the Europa League? Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Can we win it? Yes, we can. We know we can win it. We've seen the performances this season in bigger games. Just manage the season somehow and get the best out of these players that we can. Rest in the Premier League if we have to. It doesn't matter right now. It doesn't matter. We should be giving opportunities to players in the Premier League right now, like Kevin. Let him get better. Play him. Play the likes of Chido. Give him the game time that he needs. Bring him on off the bench a few more times through the season. Give him that taste. Then we go into the, obviously because we can't play Chido in the Europa League, but then we take them players into the pre-season. They've had a taster. They get used to the squad. Bang, bang. Here we go. Let's have a great summer and then hit that next season with the recruitment that we've got coming in this summer that we just talked about, and we go full bore. And then you hopefully have got a team that is right behind Ruben Amorim, and that is how Manchester United progress. Well, on paper it is, and in a normal football world it is, but Man United are not normal, are they? And that's always going to be the counter-arguments. You got Roz says in the super chat, thank you, buddy. Dalot out for 35 million and Quenda in for the ballpark figure. Makes too much sense, doesn't it? It does make too much sense, mate. Can United do the obvious? I think that's the question, isn't it? Can United actually do the obvious and do what's necessary? Bayern Munich apparently are hovering around Diogo Dalot, by the way. That was a story that was out the other day as well. It got swamped up and pushed aside by all of the stadium news. But yes, Bayern Munich have looked into Dalot and his availability. I do believe he will be one of them players. Like, as professional as he is, his standard and his performances have been way, way, way below par. So I do believe that Dalot will be one of them players that, if the right offer comes in, United will look at it. We have got cover in that area. We have. And we will bring in a right wing back. And then we will have 2 attacking wing backs for Ruben to work with. Give him the 9, give him the goalkeeper, and let's start moving forward. That's what we need to do. And I think we just said it then. It's like, it seems so obvious, but we don't do it. and that is the worry going into the summer. Nuno Mendes is better than Quenda. We need to sign Nuno Mendes and maybe swap Ugarte for João Neves. Are you, Nico, what are you on, mate? Why would PSG, who bought Neves last season, swap him for Ugarte, who we bought from them last season? They just did exactly what you said, so why would they do it for United? And Mendes we can't afford, and he's signing a new contract. So no, Nico, that one won't happen, my friend, I'm afraid. In his first season at Sporting, Ruben Amorim got rid of 25 players. He relied on free transfers, experience and youth. I fully trust in Amorim. Great super chat there from Ray. I'm with you, Ray, on that one. Big it up, mate. Absolutely. That's it. Like, that's what we got to look at. Look into the past. Look into what he's done before and trust in what he wants. And that's the only positive I've got right now in this ownership model and what's happening is that they are fully trusting in Ruben Amorim and what he's done before, and it is going to change. We're not going to get the old United way. Yes, we can adapt to little games like we have been doing. The squad isn't good enough to play Ruben Amorim football right now. We haven't got the numbers. We haven't got the players available to us that Ruben would like to work with, and we adapted against Arsenal. We got a good team performance. Bang, bang. Let's get through it, for God's sake. But going into the summer, honestly, I expect a dozen first-team players out the door. A dozen. And they are all on decent money wages. They are on Manchester United's wage bill, their main wage bill. And that, I think, will happen. We're actually almost at 200 live likes, everyone. A little bit earlier again today, obviously out and about this morning. I'm at the doctor's this morning, so needs must and have to obviously get the show out as always, but wanted to give you as much time as possible to get through all of the news. Paul Pogba, Romano talking, he is a free agent. You can see it going across the bottom of your screen there, everybody, which is saying that despite all of the rumours and all of the noises around Paul Pogba and the communication with Manchester United, apparently there is no official or real bid on the table for Paul Pogba from Manchester United. It doesn't look like they are going out of their way to sign him anyway, put it that way. Never say never, but at the moment it's a no. And I'm only saying that because Romano has said it. But yeah, keep your comments coming in on that. I'm going to get through as many as I possibly can now. It all started with Sell David before that Erik ten Hag was fine. That transfer completely exposed us. Straight 8th from 3rd. Sell David. Oh, you mean David De Gea, Savage. Right, got you. Issue is, this is the Premier League, most competitive league out there. That is. It is the most competitive league, and it is going to be different and harder for Ruben Amorim, King D. It is different, and you cannot do everything that he did at Sporting or expect him to get the results he got at Sporting. I don't think anybody's getting carried away with that. I do get what you're saying now. You're 100% right. It has to be progress that relates to the strength of the Premier League. You cannot just don't go and get rid of everybody and expect the younger players to then come through because they believe in Amorim, because everybody else has got better players, more experienced players. And that's true. Everyone in this league has got better players in some positions than Manchester United, nearly every position in the case of most of the teams in this league right now. And that's the sorry state of Manchester United's recruitment over the last decade, in that we've allowed it to get to this stage now where United are looking at teams above us, like Bournemouth, Brighton, Crystal Palace, Fulham, Aston Villa, Chelsea, Newcastle, Forest. All of these players in their teams are better than what United have got. And this is why there's going to be an exodus. Ruben should have come in and been able to get more out of these players. It's not been possible because they are just not that good. He proved to me that these players were not good enough. Ruben Amorim proved me wrong. He did. Because he's come in and he's taken this team. I expected them to fall under his commands and do whatever he said and play the football that he wanted to play. But they haven't been good enough. And the players that I thought were still capable of getting fourth in the league have failed. So Ruben has proved me wrong by coming in, trying to get these players to play, and they've not been able to. And the only good results we've had this season have been when United have been up and against it and in low blocks and trying to just dig out results. Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Arsenal again. They're the games that everybody talks about. They're the upbeat games that United fans have been excited about this season. Apart from the odd one in Europe, which gives me hope for the Europa League. That's it. Ipswich struggled. Southampton struggled. They're the other wins that we've had. Fulham away struggled. Literally crawling over the line with one goal difference wins has shown exactly where this team is at. The teams at the bottom, like the only game that we've won by more than 2 goals over, what has it been this year, this calendar year in fact, 2025, was Southampton? And we were 1-0 down up until the last 10 minutes in that game. So that tells you exactly where we are. One of the worst teams in Premier League history. We're beating Manchester United with nearly 10 minutes to go at Old Trafford. And we had Ahmad, hat-trick hero that day, who just literally pulled something out of the bag for us. That's where this team is. And Ruben has just shown them for what they are. So I do expect a good dozen players to be out of the door this summer. And I think everybody will be... I think everybody will be completely on board with that and understand it. There is a link in the live chat right now, everybody, from my Mason Greenwood video from Football Talks. If you haven't subscribed to my other channel, Football Talks, that is there in the live chat as well, everyone. Make sure that you go over and look at the content there. I do things a little bit differently over there. Different types of video, all Premier League content base-wise, but interesting look on Mason Greenwood and his plight at Marseille at the moment. Go and watch that video back, everybody. Thank you as well, if you have already come. Who should play at number 9? Højlund or Zirkzee? That's the poll we just thrown up into the chat there. Moving on to the game. Obviously, we'll talk more about Sociedad later on, but for the last few minutes, just want to gauge who should play at number 9. Should Rasmus be there, fully rested, and should Zirkzee be at 10 in a different role? They are not anywhere near as good as what Arsenal are, and I think we can safely say that. So should United be looking at this game and going, right, we need to go for the throats of Sociedad? It's as simple as that. What are you saying, everybody? Let me know. Get into the chat. Speak to me on that one. Let me know what you think is the right way to go for Manchester United when it comes to that number 9 position. Let's get through some more comments. I'm doing a workout after 60 seconds tonight to ensure the win for us, says Block. United Spotlight again. I'm all for the clear out and buying 5 or 6 no-name players. We need a clear out. We've been saying it for years. Hopefully it's happening. Well, it started last summer, and I think obviously going into this summer as well, we're expecting a little bit more on top of that. So I think it actually is happening right now. I think it is. And yeah, I'm actually pleased that these players are all leaving. Like, we are going to have to pay for our mistakes. Inheriting the bad regime, what Sir Jim Radcliffe was talking about in that interview. Not being able to sell Lindelof, not being able to sell Casemiro, not being able to sell Christian Eriksen. Players that were brought in that we're now just letting go for nothing. We could have been recouping money for these players. We should have at least been able to get 20 million together for these players. And no, nothing. Nothing's going to happen. It's going to be the same with Harry Maguire as well. We're going to get nothing for him. All of these players that have been absolutely rinsing Manchester United wage-wise, that we paid fortunes for, are going to be leaving the football club for nothing. Hopefully we can gather together 20 to 25 million for Casemiro and just get him off the books and bring in a tiny little bit of money. But what that does, it's like, for instance, this is how recruitment would go right now. If you sold Casemiro for 25 million, United would stand to make approximately 7 or 8 million in terms of profit off that deal because of what we owe on PSR and then the balance after that. His wages as well and everything involved. So 25 million, that comes in, that gives you what, 7 million. What is that? Heaven, Chido, Sekou Kone, Diego Leon. That could be Ramirez. That could be Jimenez, who we just spoke about from Argentina. That could be Casemiro in the end. And this whole loss that we've talked about Casemiro, that could be 7 players, 7 younger players, the future of this football club brought in for that little bit of money we made on Casemiro. Every single penny counts at Manchester United right now. That's the recruitment side of things. 1 man out, 7 men in. That's what we're talking about. And 7 players that could actually really help Manchester United going forward and be players of the future. That's the recruitment that I'm talking about and getting excited about. That's where this club needs to be moving. The bigger signings that you need to make, they have to be perfect. And I mean perfect. If you're spending anything over 30 million this summer for Manchester United, it has to be bang on the money. Otherwise, we're going to be licking our wounds again and we're going to be talking exactly like we are right now. It has to be bang on. And I think we have made the right signing in Dorgu. At 25 million, I think he is a snip. Honestly, I think he will be really good. You can see the potential in him. And under Amorim, I'm so much more confident that we're going to get more out of these players that are coming into Manchester United. I really am. I'm running the positive train right now, everybody. 1,200 people in the room. Give the video a like. Thank you so much. I have got to go to the doctors. So it is an earlier show today that I'm going to just cut off right now. All I want to say is, again, the comments at the moment have been absolutely banging. I've had a lot of abuse, a lot of hate over the last few days because of my views on Ineos, the stadium, and everything like that. You only have to look at my interview with Sky and Twitter, just pure dogs abuse. People messaging me saying you're getting absolutely slaughtered. I'm always going to stay the same. I just appreciate everyone's support on the channel and the chats, the mods, the members, and people who have been with the channel from the get-go. It's always just going to be from the heart and honesty. That's what it's always going to be on Forever United TV. And again, I just want to say a massive thank you to you all for your support and everything that you've put into the channel as well, because I know it's nothing without you. All I ask is that you just keep on being in the videos, keep your comments coming in and like it, nothing else. And please subscribe to Football Talks as well, my other channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more content on there. And obviously you've got Big Up as well, which we do a lot of other content on. I'm a busy person. And I do appreciate all the effort that you guys all put into the channel as well. It doesn't go unnoticed, trust me. And don't forget, if you are a member, there is a members video up from yesterday as well. Go and check that out on the channel. But that, for now, is it, everyone. Funnily enough, I will be back on Sky Sports later on, so cue the abuse again later on. 1:05 if you want to watch it. I'll be live on Sky Sports. It's a mad world, innit? Thanks, everyone. I'll see you all later. Loads of content. We're back here on YouTube, probably around about 2-ish sort of mark. I'll keep you updated on it anyway, but yep, off we go. I'll see you all in a bit.